Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Dr. Scott. Happy Friday to you. I hope you all had a magnificent Christmas. Hope you and your family had a great time. Try to get everything all set up here. There we go. Today we're going to be talking about money. So fun subject. Going into 2020. Again, this is the end of our launch prep program. This is the last show in the launch prep course series, I guess we'll call it. Also the last show of the year. But don't you fret. I'll be back next year. I actually got some really exciting stuff planned for us come January. I'll talk about that here in just a second. But again, we're going to be talking about money today. So stick around for that. Make sure you hit that little like button and also answer the question of the week, which is, what was your favorite launch prep topic so far this year? I don't know if I can go through them all. So we spent 3 weeks on goal setting. Goal setting 1, 2, and 3. And then we worked on capacity. We worked on before capacity, we worked on spring cleaning, then capacity, then your new patient procedures, your office policies and procedures, your marketing, and then here we are in, did I forget one? I feel like I need to check. Let's see here. I know where it is. I feel like I forgot one in there. Never mind. So anyways, worked on all that stuff to help you produce more. That was really the goal of everything so far, is to make you produce more in 2020. Today we're going to talk about the money side of things. What do you do? First of all, setting up your money systems, but then also what do you do with the extra money that you made? So, of those topics, which one was your favorite so far? Put that in the comments down below if you'd be so kind. And as I've been saying here, we have just opened up the coaching program for 2020. And I've had quite a few people reach out to me, even though I still don't have a sales page set up for that. Just randomly. It's one of the things I've just never put a whole bunch of time into. But I have had a few people reach out. So if you're interested in having a conversation with me about coaching, about what we could do together in 2020, there's a little link down in the comments section to schedule a call with me. Basically a video call just like this right after our the show. Every morning I open up some time to talk to people. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit that, click that button, schedule some time with me. But put your favorite launch prep topic in the comments down below, and we're going to talk about money here in just a second. Just making sure everything's all set up properly. It looks like it is. Yes. Before we get into today's show, I want to talk about upcoming shows. So I've mentioned a few times during this launch prep series that the launch prep annually has been the most well received. I don't know. People seem to like it the most. The preparing for next year thing. The spending this time here, these 8-10 weeks where we don't want to make a whole bunch of noise because it's so loud out there. It's starting to quiet down. You've probably already noticed that. Working on your systems, preparing yourself, getting ready to launch in 2020 or the following year. So launch prep's always been one of my favorites, as well as my clients' favorites on the show here. Second favorite is typically January, where I do my morning routine series. So we are going to do the morning routine series along with a couple other special things I have planned for January. So we are going to do the morning routine series basically every day in January. Again, for me, I'm not a huge fan of the whole New Year's resolution thing. I don't really get into that concept of starting something new in January. I actually just started a couple things these past couple months for myself, new routines, new habits, because I didn't want to wait until until January 1st, like a lot of people do. But I still take advantage of that time to do the morning routine series. So the morning routine series is basically going to help you develop your morning routine. If you've seen any of my programs, you know that I don't tell you how to do things. I help you create your own little systems and procedures. So when it comes to your morning routine, there is no perfect morning routine. I know a lot of people out there are selling you products saying, hey, here's the morning routine. There is no perfect routine. I'm going to show you things that you can or should or might want to add to your morning routine. And again, it's been a great series over the years. People have really seemed to enjoy it. So make sure you come around for that. I've always done that every day in January, Saturday, Sunday included. I just give you one small little tip every day. That is the plan for this January as well. And like I said, I have a couple other special plans to do later in the day as also a part of Coffee with Dr. Scott on Thursdays when we do kind of the real show, if you will. So that is the plan for January. After that, I'm kind of doing a survey amongst my clients of how to proceed. We'll definitely be going through perfect case acceptance again. We'll definitely be going through referral mastery again. Team development was a big hit this year, so we'll probably be doing that as well going through the spring into the summer. Speaking of the spring and into the summer, I've mentioned on my last show that I had canceled the tour this year just because I was so busy, had so much going on, but we do have my final tour. A lot of things going on in my life, where my kids are at and whatnot. My oldest daughter in college, I've decided to stop doing the tour, but I'm going to do 2 more trips around the country. So if you're interested in having me come out and visit your practice and do a practice evaluation for you, you've got 2 more chances of me swinging through your area. One here late winter, come January through March, and then I'm going to repeat that April, May, June. So those are my last 2 times around the country in tour fashion. It doesn't mean I'm not going to travel anymore, but I still travel with my clients and whatnot. Anyways, if you're interested in having me come out, if you see my tour stuff and you've been like, maybe someday I'll do that, now's the time to do that. Again, make sure you hit that link down below. Schedule some time to talk to me. We can discuss and go from there. Anyways, let's get into the financial conversation here. So, where am I? There we go. First thing I want you to do when you start talking about money is putting together a budget. And budget doesn't sound like fun, but it's very, very important in running a business. And as I say a lot in any of my shows, a lot of you aren't running a business. You're truly running a practice, or you have a hobby. You go in and you take care of people, but you're not running a business. You're not manufacturing a business. You're not putting together for an end result. What is that end result? We can go really deep into that, but the only reason, in an E-Myth concept, if any of your E-Myth fans, most of you know that I am, the only reason to start a business is to sell a business. So the end result of any business is at some point you're going to have to sell it. And a lot of us chiropractors don't think about that while we're in practice. So, we're not planning for that sale, but you should be. And a budget's a part of that. A budget is making sure that you're profitable enough that when you do go to sell it, it's an asset and it's something you can sell. I have a lot of clients that call me wanting to sell their practice next year or 2, and they're just not ready to do so. And I'm saying don't wait till then. Don't wait until you're ready to sell to make your practice profitable. Get your budget in place. So when I start talking about your budget, what you want to do, obviously, is look at your last year's expenses and figure out what produced for you and what didn't. Now, the one thing I don't want you to do is to budget yourself into a hole. And what I mean by that is that you budget so strictly that you won't spend the money you need to increase your capacity. If you go back to week 4 or week 5, when we talked about capacity, I think we did spring cleaning first. We did. So week 5, we talked about capacity. And I said that you might have to spend some money this year. You might have to spend some money increasing your capacity so more people can get through your door so that you can produce more. So don't budget yourself so strictly that you can't add for that capacity. In fact, I want you to look at your potential capacity for this year. So look at the first 3 weeks of this series. Look at what your goals are. How much do you want to produce? And what's it going to take in order to produce that kind of an income? So do you need to hire an associate this year? Do you need to hire an additional staff member this year? Do you end up having to do more marketing because you have the capacity for it? But again, don't market unless you have capacity. I don't want to go off on a tangent there because obviously I could spend a lot of time on that subject. But definitely budget for new staff, more space, equipment, staff, space, equipment, doctor speed if need be with another associate. Start looking at your budget. Now, when I say look at the budget, and I also get a lot of calls from docs who are downsizing, who are deciding to go into a smaller office or get rid of some staff. And I'm okay with that if you do it for the right reason. But a lot of us are doing it just because we're not producing enough. So we try to shrink to greatness, which is not a good thing, not a good concept. So if that's where you're thinking, really think about what's it going to take to produce more. You may have put yourself in a situation where you didn't have the capacity, and that's what led to your production issue. So shrinking might not be a good thing for you. But look at what did produce for you last year and what didn't produce for you last year. So when I say that, a lot of you might look at some, there's what is that commercial? There's a commercial where a guy comes home, he realizes he's got like 10 streaming services and he doesn't watch any of them. So I think his bank told him those things. But you should look at that yourself. The bank shouldn't have to tell you. Not necessarily streaming services, but things you signed up for this year that are costing you money. Maybe even coaches. Hopefully you won't get rid of me, but maybe coaches that you're working with that haven't produced. And again, I get a lot of those calls too. Like, I've been working with this coach for like 2 years. I haven't seen any growth. It's time to cut those ties. So look at your budget as far as things that didn't produce for you last year. And make sure you find the things that did produce. A lot of you might be doing some marketing. You might be doing 5 different things in marketing. And one of them is producing and the other 4 aren't. Get rid of those other 4. Start over. Cut some of those budget things that are not producing for you. Please don't cut anything that leads to your capacity. But really look at that budget hard, based on last year's. And this is a great week to do it. Great weekend to pull some of those reports, get them ready for your accountant. And take a look at them. Look at, again, where you spent some money, where you wasted some money, where you feel good about your money spend, and start looking at those things. All right, so budget. Got it. And again, remember that your production is way more important than cutting your overhead costs. A couple examples. I've seen doctors who get rid of a staff member, not because they weren't doing well, because they wanted to reduce their overhead. And by getting rid of that staff member, they cut their production by 20%. And so if you think about, maybe you pay that staff member $2,000 a month, and you lose $3,500 a month in production. Did you, you cut your overhead, but you also cut your production by even more. So you actually cost yourself. So you got to look at those numbers and make sure that you know what's helping you produce. Staff, space, equipment, and doctor speed, it's okay to spend money on. Some of the other stuff that's not producing or not increasing your capacity or not bringing in any new patients, make sure you cut those things off here before the beginning of the year. All right, next thing I want you to look at is your... I know it's there somewhere. There it is. That changed, right? Anyways, your accounts receivable. So here I want you to look at some of your other expenses as far as bringing in your accounts receivable, as well as who pays you the money. So if you're a cash practitioner, you'll have less to worry about here. But I want you to look at if you're using a billing service. I get asked that question a lot. Should I use a billing service? Should I not? Depends on your size, really. If you're I don't want to say small enough, but if you're single doctor operation, oftentimes a billing service is not right for you. To give away 8% of your income in that range just to get them to send out your bills doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. I'll tell you a tip that I give to a lot of my clients. The sending out of bills and the collecting of money that's easy is really easy. I don't want to give away 8% of that. So for you to click a button to send bills to a clearinghouse, and for those EOBs to come in and for you to process them, that's easy work. We can hire someone to do that in-house and keep that up. What I would outsource if I was going to do it for 8% or even more is the difficult claims, right? The things that get rejected, the things you have to resubmit, stuff of that nature. I don't mind farming that out to a billing service. But look at your billing service. As you start to get big, or if you have multiple clinics, a billing service then starts to make some sense. But again, we can cut some costs by making sure we know what's easy, what's a little harder, and what we're willing to pay the money for. Also look at a few of your insurance contracts if you're in insurance. I have so many doctors that are fighting to keep certain insurance contracts happy, certain insurance payers happy. Patients with those insurance payers that are actually hurting them. And they're worried they're going to lose a contract. And I look at that contract and I'm like, the best thing that could happen to you is you lose this contract. You're not getting paid enough per patient in order for you to be putting all this effort into keeping them happy. So look at a few of those insurance contracts and see if maybe you need to get out of some. See if maybe you have 3 payers that pay at this level and then 1 payer that pays at this level, and maybe get rid of that contract. And you're like, well, I'll lose those patients. Yeah, you will, but that's going to open up more space for better paying patients to come in. And obviously it's not all about, we want to take care of those people, and we're still willing to, but if it's costing you money to take care of somebody, it's really not a good business move. And there are other people that need your services that again, will take the place of those ones that leave. So look at some of those insurance contracts as well. Next thing I want you to look at is your accounts receivable from patients. So accounts receivable I just talked about would be insurance balances. Here I want you to look at some overdue patient balances. And a lot of you are like, what do you mean, doc? Because you probably don't send claims at all. Or not claims, but bills to patients. And I see a lot of doctors that do that. And it's not a matter of them not wanting to collect that money. It's just a matter that they don't take the time at the end of every month to send out a statement or a bill to a patient. A lot of you have good collection procedures up front. I hope you do, that people don't walk out the door while owing you money. But I've seen several clinics that have $100 balances, hundreds of dollars balances across the board here. So what I want you to do there, and this is something that kind of comes into the spring cleaning that I talked about in session number 4 of Launch Prep. I want you to look at these monies owed to you and deal with them one time. And by one time, I mean there's probably people out there that owe you money that you probably see every month, every quarter, something like, man, I need to send a claim, or you do and they don't pay you and you just kind of deal with it, but it's always kind of in the back of your mind. I want you to deal with these for the last time. So it's good both for your accounts receivable, for your cash flow, but it's also really great for your mindset to get rid of some of this stuff and clean it up. So take any overdue bills, take any patient balances, and make a final decision on all of them. Print them all out, make decisions as to whether you're going to send that bill, or in some cases, I'd probably still send the bill once, but after that I would write it off, meaning I give them 30 days to pay for it. And then make a decision what to do with these people. Either send them off to small claims court or a collection agency or something of that nature. Or in certain cases, you might consider just relieving them of that debt. I had a client in Chicago. We did that. We took, he was just a terrible situation as far as sending patient statements. A lot of patients owed a lot of money. And it wasn't, again, that it was just that they were so friendly. They're like, oh, you'll get it next time. They said it to everybody, and it just ended up being a mess. So what we finally did is we cleaned it all up, we made good decisions, and probably 60% of the people we actually wrote a letter to. And we just said, you know what? You owed this money to us. We're going to go ahead and forgive that balance. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever it might be. And you don't owe us a penny. You're always welcome back in our office. Feel free to stop in any time. And they actually got a whole bunch of those patients back and made up a whole bunch of more production than they would have if they had just collected that money and made those patients upset. So make some decisions to deal with them one time. Clean it up. Now, having said that, you also need some financial systems in place to make sure you don't end up there again. Make sure next year when I have this conversation, you're like, well, that's not me. All my accounts receivable are paid and statements are sent, and get those systems in order to make sure it doesn't continue happening. But clean up those bills. And again, put a system in place to make sure that you do it for the last time. Now, the one thing I don't have over here, I never know which direction it is. It's all mirror image. Anyways, one thing I don't have over there is your savings. Now, when we start talking about money, that's a big thing for me and my clients. And one thing we talked about in the goal setting quite a bit is how much do you want to save every year? And it's a big push for me and has been here lately with my clients. So it hasn't been in the Launch Prep course before, but I'm adding it this year, is to think about what your savings is and to set up systems for that savings. The best tip I've ever been given was to save your age, which means however old you are, you should be saving that many $1,000 per year towards retirement, towards children's education, whatever it might be, total savings. So I'm 48 years old. I should be saving $48,000 per year. And a lot of you might be in that same position. So let's take me, and you might be thinking about $4,000 a month. There's no way I could save that. I can tell you it's probably easier to save that than you think it is if you save it first. And that's the only way you're going to save that money is if you save it first. So when we start talking about financial systems, put some systems in place. I've had several of my doctors, younger doctors, do this and get started in a really good place by saving a smaller amount, but by just stashing it away and making it automatic so it just kind of disappears. So no matter what you collect in your office, that money just disappears into an account and set up the systems to make that happen. And I guarantee you can get by on what's left over. However, if you don't stash it away, you're still going to get by on what's left over, right? If you make $20,000 a month, you spend $20,000 a month. If you take $2,000 away from that, and now you make $20,000, but there's only 18 there, you'll still get by on that same 18. You probably won't even notice the difference. The other thing that might happen is you might start collecting 22. The 2 disappears, and you still have 20. But you've got to do it first. So put some systems in place to save this year. Hopefully that was one of your goals. I read a lot of my clients' goals, and I saw where they're at, and it was production, and everybody had great goals. But one of your big goals really should be to save money, whether it's towards vacations later or toys, play stuff as well, but also for retirement God forbid something happened and you have your emergency fund. So take your age, start thinking about that. And again, if you're like me and you're 48, doesn't mean you have to start saving $4,000 per month right now. But if you start saving $1,000 a month, and then 6 months from now you add up to $1,500, and you start moving it. A lot of you, I know, because I've seen your numbers, I've seen your stats, and I've talked to enough of you to know that a lot of you aren't saving at all. In a financial system, save something. Start saving, putting away for yourself. I know we tend to, as entrepreneurs, we tend to put a lot back into the business. It's a lot more important that the business serve your life. So start your saving, would you? Do that for me, if not for yourself. All right. So that is your financial systems. Any questions about that stuff, you can either put them in the comments down below, or you can set up some time with me with that link down below. Either way. As I've mentioned a couple times, my coaching is open. We've actually got some nuances to the coaching this year that I'm really excited about. There's going to be a lot more interaction. There always has been in my coaching programs, but even more as far as guiding you through some of the courses that I have always offered. A lot more one-on-one interaction. Obviously, there's opportunities for my coaching clients to have me in their offices doing on-site consultations. So all that stuff's available. Again, if you're interested, just click that link down below. I'd love to chat with you about what I offer and see if it fits with you. Last show of the year. So again, we'll be coming back January 1st, most likely. Well, if I'm going to do every day in January, I guess I got to start January 1st. We'll be coming back January 1st with the morning routine series, so make sure you show up for that. You'll be seeing some, I don't want to say ads, some posts about it coming up here to make sure that you know where to go and when to go there and when to watch the shows. So I really hope you all enjoyed the Launch Prep program. I know I have. I think they're still up. If you missed some of the shows, you can either go back in my old videos, or I believe there's a link up there in the description where you can still sign up for the course, and everything's stored in there for you. There's the sample reactivation letters. There's all kinds of special things in for you. There's a lot of PDF downloads as well. So if you want any more of that information, click on the link above, and then click on the link down below to schedule time with me. Have a great Christmas through New Year's week, and I'll talk to you in about a week.